Hi, I'm Joe Ward, and I'm a candidate to become mayor in the CBRM on October 19th. But have you noticed that in the media, they're focusing their initial attention on candidates Rankin McSween, someone I endorsed in 2016, and Cecil Clark, the controversial former mayor that Amanda McDougall defeated in 2020. So how about a mayoral ranking today? And I think there's some value in taking a look at the list I'm about to share. But first, what do I mean by mayoral ranking? Well, about 7 years ago, I started publishing a mayoral ranking for the CBRM, and it was an attempt to brainstorm about who might be next. And I started out first with just the councilors at that time, and then I expanded widely to prominent community members and others that might have some designs on running for mayor in the future. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Wendy Bergfeld could hit a walk-off grand slam if she ever takes a leave from journalism. Now, Amanda McDougall was number 2 on my list in the very first version, and then she advanced to the top spot. But 3 years before anyone knew she would run for mayor, I had a sense that it was achievable. And around that time, few people would have thought it was likely, as she was dealing with some councilors suggesting she couldn't even manage a chair to a provincial committee on waste management. And Mayor Clark was frequently at odds with her, even attempting to chastise her in a private meeting until she forced him to do so in front of the cameras with video rolling to the public. And then she gave as good as she got. And look how that turned out for both of their futures. In a month's time, we'll have all the time we need to talk about how she did and reflect on her time as mayor. With my early rankings, I watched closely and I saw something. So I'm going to repeat the process today and give you an anticipated mayoral ranking for the election next month. Now, the kicker this time is that I'm personally the dark horse candidate, not Amanda McDougall. But we're soon going to discover that the media is underestimating me as potentially one of the frontrunners right now. Now, of course, I have bias. I'm ranking a list that I'm included on, and it's subjective, and it gives me a lot of wiggle room. And I'll be fine if you don't agree with me. But just as I've done for about 10 years now in the CBRM, there are few that have tried as hard as me to get the community to pay attention and participate in these political topics. And I want you all to weigh in whether you'll support me or if you're going with somebody else. Either way, let's talk about it. So here's the ranking from my view right now, and I'll be as brief as possible, and we can talk about the details in the comments wherever you see this video shared. And keeping in mind that this is as much a thought experiment as it is an attempt at predicting the future, here's the number 1 candidate. Based on years of observation of people talking about future mayors, Chief Terry Paul, should he ever choose to run in CBRM elections, would likely easily sail to victory, and the media would not underestimate him. And there's no way there would be 9 candidates on the ballot with that kind of challenge. Why? Because we've watched Chief Paul overcome adversity to turn Member 2 into a financially successful powerhouse, serving as both elected chief and the CEO of the corporate division. Neither Rankin nor Clark would likely put their names on the ballot against Chief Paul. Now, despite the controversy and criticism that every incumbent mayor faces, I'll rank Mayor Amanda McDougall as number 2. We know, of course, she's not running and can't at this point in time. However, Clark waited until she revealed that she would not run before making the commitment, likely hoping that Rankin would also stay retired. While McDougall has definitely lost some support, she won by such a large margin that it would be difficult for Clark to overcome the loss of support he's had over the years as mayor, or while moonlighting to become the leader of the party that Tim Houston now leads. But here's the big question. Who's number 3 among those that are actually in this race? This is where I'm going to create a situation where supporters of each candidate will start a debate. And in the absence of any clear data about how much Clark or Rankin have lost support or enthusiasm from their bases over the years, it might be a 3-way tie. And I can't wait to see your reaction to this one. I think it's between Rankin, myself, the dark horse candidate, or Cecil Clark. Rankin and Clark benefit from their left and right positions on the political spectrum and the base of support from either party supporters for Clark or to staff and politically aligned folks for Rankin. However, they've been largely in the shadows these past 4 years, with Rankin retired and Clark seemingly vanishing, neither showing much attention to the matters that face the CBRM as a municipal government. But I've been here all along, with no party to follow and no folks so important that they make decisions for me. And with nothing to gain, I've continually studied and addressed our biggest topics. I weighed in, whether in writing or video format, and I never left the discussions behind, and people noticed. And I never played it safe in my opinions, and people noticed. And I never thought anyone was too insignificant for me to reply to, and people noticed. And we're going to find out how many people noticed. But right now, I'm entirely focused on letting people know what I would do as mayor. The media might be skeptical, but I'm not restrained by a single district now. The entire municipality is there to hand me the ball if they so choose. And we'll see. Elections are not easy. There's no silver or bronze medal. So how about them apples? Now next in at number 4 is James Edwards. Being on council gave him some exposure in the media where he told the media it was a decision about what to do in retirement. But his confidence in his old school image will gain him some support. Next in at a very close number 5 is Archie McKinnon. And Archie has a lot of passion, and that's alluring to people. And he's going to have lots of Northside support, and he's probably going to pull it away from Cecil. Now next in at number 6 might be Fuzzy, who pulled 3,000 votes in 2008, running for mayor, and then asked for a recount even though he lost by 17,000 votes to John Morgan. I see the humor in that, and I like it. And with a little charm, CBRM folks might embrace him. Next in at number 7 is Kevin McCachran. He doesn't run a flashy campaign, but he seems like a decent guy, and that's important. So kudos to him for his persistence and not giving up. Now, next in at number 8 is Vince Hall. And I'm ranking Vince near the bottom of the pack, primarily because his history as a counselor with the CBRM is going to be a hurdle he probably can't overcome. You just can't be in Halifax not showing up for your council duties. People are going to find that difficult to let go, and he'll take a few voters from me right now for people to think it's not my place to bring it up, but we'll see. Now, for the purposes of this ranking, I do want to make an apology to Carla George, someone I haven't met and I don't know much about. So I'm not ranking you last in this thought experiment. I'm just going to hold off on assigning a ranking, and I hope to get to know more about you when you kick off your campaign. So remember, folks, I always tell people this is about sharing ideas to provoke action and discussion. We're just finishing up a summer where nobody in the CBRM wants to waste the warm weather on thinking about political topics. In this case, I'm asking everyone to pay attention to this mayoral race as much as time permits. And I'd like you to all remember one thing. There are more than 2 horses in this race.